The city of New Orleans in Louisiana is named after the Duke of Orleans, who ruled as regent on behalf of Louis XV from 1715 to 1723. The city of New Orleans is popular for its jazz music, expertly prepared cuisines and festivals such as Mardi Gras. The city straddles the Great Mississippi River and is often described as the most unique city in North America. Here are some amazing and interesting facts you probably never knew about New Orleans. Number 1. Despite what people may think, New Orleans' popular Bourbon Street was not named after the whiskey. It was actually named after the Bourbon dynasty of France. Number 2. Mardi Gras masks aren't just for fun. It's illegal to ride on a Mardi Gras float in New Orleans without one. Number 3. The spikes on many poles in the city used to be used to protect the daughters of French aristocrats from unwanted suitors. Today, they're still helpful, but only to prevent Mardi Gras goers from climbing up the poles. Number 4. Each seat in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome is a different color than the one next to it. This coloring makes it seem like the stadium has a full house, even if it doesn't. Number 5. Antoine's restaurant in the French Quarter is the oldest continuously run restaurant in Louisiana, established in 1840. Number 6. New Orleans has frequently been listed as one of the most haunted cities in America, and for good reason. The city is full of haunted mansions and graveyards and has enough ghost stories to last you a lifetime. Number 7. Remember to thank New Orleans when sipping on your favorite happy hour cocktail. America's first mixed, the Sazerac, was created by Antoine Paychard in a French Quarter bar. It's now the official cocktail of New Orleans. Number 8. New Orleans has more total mileage of canals, both above and below ground, than Venice in Italy. Number 9. New Orleans dentist Levi Spear Parmley invented the very first form of dental floss. Number 10. The iconic Andrew Jackson Monument in Jackson Square is the world's first equestrian statue in which the horse has more than 1 foot off the base. Number 11. New Orleans was home to the world's first permanent for-profit movie theater, Vitascope Hall. Number 12. New Orleans is one of the few U.S. cities that has been run under 3 different flags. It was founded by the French, had a period under Spanish rule, was ruled under the French again, and then was eventually sold to the United States. Number 13. New Orleans was the only place in the world where slaves were allowed to own drums, which eventually led to the city's creation of jazz music. Number 14. However, while most agree that New Orleans is the birthplace of jazz, the specific creator of jazz is debated. Some say the music style was born in 1895 when Buddy Bolden started his first band, but others say jazz originated when Nick LaRocca and his band recorded their first jazz record. Number 15. The death mask of the French military and political leader, Napoleon Bonaparte, is housed in the Louisiana State Museum in New Orleans. Number 16. Baton Rouge may be Louisiana's capital today, but New Orleans was named state capital twice, once as the capital of the French colony of Louisiana and again in 1864. Number 17. The first game of poker was played in New Orleans in the 19th century using a 20-card pack. Number 18. The St. Louis Cathedral in Jackson Square is the oldest continuously used cathedral in the U.S. Number 19. New Orleans is often called the Crescent City because of the distinctive curve of the Mississippi River that runs right through it. Number 20. City Park, one of the largest urban parks in the nation, used to be a favorite spot for Creole men to meet and duel with pistols and swords. Number 21. Today, City Park is much mellower and is the most popular place in the city for weddings. Number 22. The New Orleans-based music group, the Dixie Cups, beat out the Beatles for the top spot on the Billboard Hot 100 list in 1964 with their song, Chapel of Love. Number 23. New Orleans voodoo queen Marie Laveau's tomb receives more visitors each year than Elvis Presley's grave. Number 24. Canal Street was once planned to be an actual canal. However, the waterway was never constructed, and it now acts as one of New Orleans' busiest streets instead. Number 25. The last major outbreak of yellow fever in the US was in New Orleans in 1905. Number 26. Although New Orleans' famed neighborhood may be called the French Quarter, most of the buildings were influenced by Spanish architecture. Number 27. The first opera in America, Ernest Grétry's Sylvain, was performed in New Orleans in 1796. Number 28. What the rest of the country calls a median, New Orleans calls neutral ground. The strip of ground in the middle of the road was named after the French and Spanish of the city who could only do business on specific neutral ground locations. Number 29. The LaLaurie Mansion is known as the most haunted place in the French Quarter. The elegant LaLaurie family that originally lived there harbored a secret that was exposed during a fire when firemen discovered dozens of slaves chained to the walls and body parts littered on the floor in a secret attic. Number 30. Despite New Orleans' reputation as the country's prime Mardi Gras destination, it wasn't the first U.S. city to host a Fat Tuesday celebration. Instead, Mobile, Alabama held America's first Mardi Gras festivity. Number 31. New Orleans was the first home to the American Mafia and the site of the first Mafia incident in the U.S. Number 32. Despite its reputation for Cajun cuisine, the predominant type of New Orleans cooking is Creole. Number 33. The Battle of New Orleans may have been the final major battle of the War of 1812, but it didn't have much impact on the outcome of the war. The battle took place 2 weeks after the war had officially ended with the signing of the Treaty of Ghent. But at least the victory did boost everyone's national pride. Number 34. Because the city was built on a swamp, most of the dead in New Orleans are buried in above-ground tombs. Everyone would love to see Grandma again, just not in that way. Number 35. New Orleans was the first site of Italian immigration in the United States. It also had the largest Italian population in the country until New York and Baltimore became the preferred immigrant destinations. Number 36. The St. Charles streetcar is one of the country's only mobile national monuments. Number 37. New Orleans' Louis Joseph Dufilho Jr. was the first pharmacist in America. His apothecary shop on Chartres Street is still there, only now it acts as a pharmacy museum. Number 38. French pirate Jean Lafitte, who operated in Louisiana, helped General Andrew Jackson defend New Orleans against the British in 1815. Number 39. Jazz funerals are a unique part of New Orleans' history and culture. The music and dancing of the funeral was originally intended to help the deceased find their way to heaven and celebrate their final leaving from Earth. Number 40. Celebrities Ellen DeGeneres, John Goodman, Tyler Perry and Reese Witherspoon are all from New Orleans. Number 41. The site of the now Meta-Irie Cemetery was originally a horse racing track. Number 42. The Old Ursuline Convent is the oldest building in the Mississippi Valley and the oldest surviving example of the French colonial period in the country.